this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So we're here for another one of our X-Piles episodes. I think we are up to, I think episode 4, but I could be completely wrong. So yeah, my pile's looking just as bad as it was right back at the beginning. But what I thought we could do is just gather out all the pages. So I've already kind of dug them out, you know, before I've pressed record. And bring some of the papers that were just laying around to make a kind of what's on my desk journal. Now, you know, again, this is nothing kind of that we haven't done in other videos. We've made what's on your desk journals before, but they're really fun to make, to be honest. So, you know, sometimes they've turned out, you know, my favourite things actually, because all these wonderful things that you wouldn't normally put together actually can look just absolutely gorgeous once you do put them together. So yeah, I thought this would be something really fun to do. So I'm just gathering in some of the bits and pieces. So we want to have obviously a mixture of different papers and things. So yeah, let's just gather in. So here I've got like some of my faux stamped images. Just going to take that down like that. Okay, now what I will do is coffee dye all of this so it kind of looks, you know, similar. Oh, that's a collage masterboard, so again that can go back into my, you know, my rack where I keep those. Then we've got some of these. I don't know whether I want to have all of this. Well, I guess I could. Yeah, I guess I could. This one I have printed things on the back which actually are upside down, so I'm not going to use that because I don't like the fact that then, you know, the things on the reverse are the upside down. So maybe we will make some ephemera or something from that. Yeah. Yeah, let's just have a look and see. We've got this, which is gorgeous, so need to obviously tidy this up where the printer's, you know, just taking it in not only a bit at an angle but also, you know, not printed quite borderless. So again, just cut that down here across the top like that. Okay, you know, it's probably not straight, but I'm not going to get too, you know, too caught up on that. So yeah, let's kind of compile our sheets that we're going to be using. I've got these. This one here, now this has got lilac on the back, so again, wondering whether this might be better for ephemera. So let me put the bits that I'm saying for ephemera kind of to one side. This one, yeah, we can definitely use this. So I'm just going to, do I want to take that down? I mean, I'm just kind of, you know, looking at this bottom bit where it's not quite borderless. It doesn't really matter, to be honest, but yeah, perhaps I'll just take that down a bit like that. And I'm just going to take it down on this side as well. And the only reason is because it's just got a little bit of hot glue stuck on it, and I could have picked that off, but I thought actually I wouldn't mind having some sort of slightly irregular size pages, you know, so it's not all completely uniform in page size. So that's those. Then I've got some of this, which is my Victorian Florals papers. So yeah, I think that would look nice. I've got some of my Country Cottages. Now again, very annoyingly, I've printed this double-sided, but now I've got, you know, upside down on the back and obviously right way up here. So just wondering, I mean, I could have it like this and then hopefully cover these bits up with pockets and things, so then you wouldn't notice that it's upside down. Or of course, you know, could cover this way up, but this is more all over. So that's why I'm thinking, you know, this actually, it's just really kind of the actual buildings that would need covering up. The rest is not so noticeable. I mean, the flower, yeah, it's not probably that noticeable. So yeah, we could probably incorporate that, I think. Then I've got some of that lovely haberdashery paper. So yeah, really, really like that. Just wondering whether we could take one of those folded in like a little pocket. Again, just so we've got some sort of irregular, you know, size pages. So just take that like that. Okay, so yeah, that's quite nice, isn't it? I will just have to trim this off slightly at the bottom because it's, you know, not very straight. So like that. Okay. And then I've got this one from the Haberdashery. I think it's from the Haberdashery. This could be from something else, actually. Now, the only thing is with this, I've obviously folded this already for something else. So, again, a bit annoying when you do things like that, isn't it? Because then, obviously not quite so ideal to be using. Just having kind of a bit more of a rummage through on my desk. I've got this. So we can definitely incorporate this into here. Now, wondering, I can either have this way round and it would be, you know, a much, much smaller page. I mean, I could try and do it this way. The problem is this is going to be a kind of vulnerable point. Or we could just keep it for making ephemera. I think what I'll do is we'll just cut it down this way and we'll just make some, you know, a smaller sort of page. So I'm just going to fold that over there. Just trim this up here on the edge. Okay, like that. Okay, so keep that to, you know, make some ephemera from. And what I do love, you know, is, and I know, you know, I've said this, but is the fact that these papers are going to be completely unexpected things. So not at all, you know, pieces that I would ordinarily have put together, but hopefully going to just make, you know, a really pretty and eclectic looking journal. So yeah, fingers crossed we're going to end up with something absolutely gorgeous. Now again, this is a misprint where I was trying to get my printables right. So it's very dark on this side. I have printed on the back, and this actually I need to coffee dye because I'm thinking kind of use this, you know, this way round. So again, going to keep that for ephemera pieces, I think. Let's see, what else have I got here? Okay, so we could have, well, to be honest, might use that for ephemera. Yeah. Okay, so I seem to have an awful lot of stuff now put by for ephemera pieces, but you know, that's absolutely fine. So just having a look to see what else I've got. And I'm now knocking things flying as I'm doing this. You can probably hear it's all just dropping on the floor. So yeah, not great. Not great at all. Okay, what's this? Okay, some book page. So yeah, definitely incorporate some book page in here. Okay, so let's just fold some of these over and just kind of start slotting them in, and then we'll kind of coffee dye, you know, the pieces that we want to coffee dye. So actually I might not coffee dye that. So like this. And then this one. Oh my goodness. I mean, do you see, you know, how lovely these look? I mean, they're very, very random papers, aren't they? And not at all, you know, predictable choices. You know, they're not kind of the types of things that I would typically put together. But don't they just look gorgeous? You know, when you kind of mix them up like this, they do, you know, they do kind of work, don't they? You know, even though they're not, you know, not a typical kind of selection, they do actually have this weird way of working. So, right, let's take these. I'm just picking out the ones that are already coffee dyed, so that we've, you know, got a bunch already in there that are already coffee dyed and ready to go. So, okay, I'm thinking this one, actually I'm going to put this one here, and then that one maybe in the middle. Yeah, maybe like that. Okay, right. So put those on my lap, and then what I'm going to do is just coffee dye these pages. Now, I've got my coffee dye here, and I know I've talked about this loads of times, but yeah, I just kind of keep it, you know, some behind my desk in a cup with a, you know, paintbrush, and then I can just paint onto there every so often, you know, as and when I need them. It's just a quick way of coffee dyeing, and just saves me having to do it in bulk. So, you know, when I've not got kind of a big volume of stuff, it's a kind of cheats way of doing it. Now I'm just going to coffee dye this side as well. And like I say, we're going to try and obviously cover up, you know, these buildings and houses and the windmill and things, because otherwise they're going to be upside down, which is just going to look ridiculous. So yeah, just kind of going to have to work with those and cover them up. Okay, so that one, put that to one side. This one obviously doesn't really need coffee dyeing actually at all. So yeah, let's just fold that one in. Okay, put that on my lap. So this is some book page. Again, doesn't really need coffee dyeing, but I will just coffee dye it for the, you know, consistency and the appearance. So like that. Couldn't even tell you, you know, how old this book is, but not particularly old, you know, maybe like, I don't know, 70s or 80s. So yeah, it's not kind of hugely vintage. I mean, it is, I suppose, a bit. I know I've talked about this before, but I'm sure that, you know, I've heard before that anything over 20 years is considered vintage, which when you think, I mean, 20 years is nothing, is it? So, you know, I'm like positively ancient. So yeah, it does not take long for something to become vintage. Antique is a whole different thing, and I feel like I've heard somebody say over 100 years is antique. I'm not absolutely sure if I've got that right. So yeah, please don't go quoting me on that, because I could be completely wrong, but I feel like I've heard somebody say anything over 100 years antique. So yeah, who knows. Right, okay. Oh, just being really slapdash now about this. So yeah, and then what I might do is get a wet wipe, so not one of my dried ones, but just one of the wetter ones, or yeah, wet ones, and just kind of like wipe that around as a kind of finishing off kind of thing, like that. Okay, let's just wipe the desk down. Right, I've now messed this up because some is coffee dyed and some isn't on this side, so I should probably go around everywhere. Okay, right, okay. So I now need to just dry these off with the heat gun. So I'll just quickly dry them and then I'll be back. Right, I'm back. So in the meantime, I dug out some more papers from the pile. So these are all, you know, still papers that I found laying around, you know, on the desk. I haven't kind of pulled in anything that's not on the desk. But yeah, so we've got much more to work with and stuff our journal with now. So just going to fold some more papers in for the journal. This one, again, as you can see, it's got kind of a little bit of, you know, well, defect from the printer. So it's just got these kind of black drag lines. So I'm just going to get rid of those. Okay. And like I say, I mean, it's actually quite nice and quite interesting to have some different size pages. So, you know, I'm not too worried about that at all. So we've got that one. Pull the journal in. And I mean, I'm using the term journal very loosely because, of course, there's not really anything at the moment. But yeah, hopefully it will be a yummy journal. So yeah, that's just that sort of flimsy sheet, because I like to mix in a combination of like flimsy papers and solid papers, and the reason for that, and I know I've talked about this before, so I do apologize if you've heard me say all this before, but you know, I repeat myself just because obviously not everybody's, you know, been here before or heard me say it. So the reason why I mix in the different papers is because, or the different thickness of papers, perhaps I should say, is because then when I put ephemera in, you know, like pockets and things, I've got different thicknesses to hold the weightier pieces. So, and you know, that is kind of personal choice. I'm not sure kind of, you know, that other people necessarily do that. I don't feel like I hear people talking about it particularly, but yeah, it's just something that kind of over time, I think, you know, for me, I get better results and I feel, you know, more happy with what I've made if I've got a, you know, variety of thickness in the papers. But like I say, completely, you know, personal choice really, how you fill your journal. You may be happy to not have thick, you know, thicker papers. Now I've also got some of that internal envelope, so I'm going to incorporate some of that as well. So I think, let me just see how's best to do this. Yeah, I think what I'll do, I'm just going to kind of cut it down like this, like that, and yeah, take it across here. And then, you know, who knows, this little odd piece, we might be able to make some ephemera or something for this as well. Now this might be, yeah, it's going to be too tall. I was going to say, because we could leave it like this, but actually it's just too tall. So yeah, it will muck up the finished journal really. So yeah, definitely needs taking down in terms of height. So yeah, let's just do that now. Obviously I have got this weird shape now going on here. Just going to take this down slightly more. Okay. And again, you know, this is just for so you've got kind of a variety of different pages and paper types in there, which just makes it, you know, more interesting to look through. But also I like to have some plain pages for journaling. So, you know, this is kind of like a double you know, function, double function, I think. So just kind of putting all my thinner pages there together. Now this one's got very messy with the coffee dyeing process. I think I'd actually coffee dyed it twice in the end. So yeah, and it's picked up lots of you know, glue and what have you from my desk. So yeah, that's all a bit unfortunate, but it's still fine. It still works. It's still, you know, it's still worthy of putting in the journal, you know, I think. So yeah, still going to keep it in there. Now, just going to mix in a couple more thinner pages. So maybe like here. Or maybe, oh, I don't know now, maybe here. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, to be honest, that probably is kind of thick enough, really. I mean, I could keep going, but I'm kind of feeling that actually it may bulk out too much. Let me just see what else I've coloured here. Yeah, I mean, all of these pieces we can make ephemera from. So, you know, I think it's absolutely fine. So I've just got this last one there, which now I'm thinking, is the black a bit too much? Although we did have that small black page, didn't we? So yeah, it's not like we haven't got any black pieces in there, is it? So yeah, I think it's okay. I'm not sure it goes that brilliantly with that sheet that it's next to. Actually, let me just see wherever that small one is. Just see whether it goes with that. It's okay. Does that look better or does that look better? That looks quite pretty, doesn't it? So yeah, perhaps I won't do that. Right, we'll just keep it like this, I think. Now, I also had this sheet of vellum or tracing paper. Now, this is some that I've done some, you know, stenciling on. And again, you know, I did this ages ago. It's just kind of been sat there ever since. So I might just take this and incorporate this in the journal as well. So, and yeah, just going to cut this down here. And again, just taking this in slightly. Now, I will get rid of that tiny little slither, but I will hang on to this because we might just, you know, make something to put inside this journal from that. So just going to quickly take these edges down. And the main reason is just because it's curling up a little bit. So, you know, it's, I think, the nature of the vellum or the tracing paper is it just does want to sort of curl up a little bit. Now, I also have some food coloured pages here, which, I mean, it is lilac, which I'm not sure that's really got any place here. I mean, I'm trying to be really eclectic and not get too hung up on, you know, what we've got here. Should we have it there? That's quite pretty, isn't it? You know, just because, again, this is another sheet that was just loitering about on the desk and, you know, it gets it off the desk and it's, yeah, another page for journaling. So it's all good. Right, now, where do I want to have this vellum piece? We could have the vellum piece here in the middle. That might be quite pretty. Although, actually, now I'm thinking, I don't think that's a good idea because where it's trying to curl around, I think it needs to be really squished in between something. Okay, right. Yep, loving how that looks. So that's going to be my base of my journal. Now, I haven't quite thought as far as a cover. Just having a quick look again to see if there's anything, you know, glaringly obvious that we could use here as a cover. Oh, I've got some cardboard. Let's get that off the desk. Oh no, here's a piece from my Halloween journal. which I obviously forgot to include in the, final journal. That's the problem when you have so much mess, isn't it? You know, you then discover that you've missed things, and so it's not great really working in such a mess, is it? Right, now the other thing that I have got here is I've got this cover from a children's book. So I'm wondering whether I could use this cover to make my journal cover. Now, obviously, it's not the right size. So let me just dislodge it from the pictures. So, I mean, again, gorgeous book, and, that's laying around on the desk, so we might do something with that at some point in this series. Just depends how we get on, really. Now, I'm wondering... Yeah, I'm wondering whether we could make a cover from this, just because I'm trying to stick with the, using the things from on the desk. So, would this be an ideal cover? So, right, let me just trim down some of my inner pages because they're poking out quite a bit. So, yeah, let's just take a handful of these. Okay, I just want to trim them down slightly, because they're a little bit, sticking out past the edges. And sometimes, that doesn't bother me. Sometimes it seems more, more obvious than not, or more obvious than others. Today it feels like it's very obvious, so I feel like it needs a bit of cutting down. And again, I'm being really lazy. I'm cutting these through multiple pages at once. Just laziness, and to be honest, I probably shouldn't be doing, because I'm not going to get very good edges. It's okay, it doesn't really bother me, but yeah, if I were being a bit more fussy, I would probably do those separately. But because it's a kind of what's on your desk journal, I feel like it can take, feel like it can take being scrappy. So yeah, that's my excuse. So yeah, that's better, isn't it? I just wanted them a little bit more flush with the front. Right, now I don't know how we're going to do this cover, it's got to be said. So yeah, probably the first thing to do is detach it from one another. So let's just get it separated. Now this cover, obviously it's very sheeny, as you can probably see. So again, it's probably not the ideal thing to be using as a cover, but that's fine. We're going to just go for it anyway. Now, yeah, just wondering whether, oh, that's not bad actually. So if I just take that and just fold this up here. Okay. Now this is very, 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 wing and a prayer type stuff, and bodgy, spur of the moment crafting. I'm not not planning this at all, and it's probably going to yeah, as a result, not be great. But we'll just see how we get on. So I'm thinking what we could do is form like a little spine here. Okay, yeah, form a little spine. Okay, right, so let's glue this one down. I hope I don't live to regret this. Very bodgy, very kind of like, yeah, on the fly crafting. Now, probably I should have actually sanded the gloss down a bit, but I'm just going to, go for it. So just going to line that up with that edge. Like that, okay, so that where my fold is, it's glued on, if that makes sense, like that. Okay, press that down. Okay, try and get my cover a little bit straighter. Not doing great so far. Yeah, making a bit of a hash of this, but never mind. Right, Now, I'm just thinking what would be quite good is, you know, that Tyvek. Now, I haven't used my Tyvek for a long time, and I'm not even sure I've seen it since my move. Let me just have a look and see whether I can spot it anywhere. No. Oh, what have I done with it? I have no idea. I had always kept it on my craft cart, and it's completely gone from there. Just having a quick look round to see if I can see it anywhere. No, I can't. Because that would have been just perfect for, you know, sealing this together and, you know, holding it nice and strong. I wonder if it's here actually. Just having a quick look beneath my desk. No, it's not there either. Right, I'm just going to turn the camera off and see if I can find it. Hold on. Well, that's really annoying because I cannot find it anywhere. And I've obviously, when I moved, thought, oh, let's put that somewhere safe. And I mean, putting it somewhere safe. I mean, that's just code for never find it again, in my experience. So anyway, never mind. So just going to even this down here. Oh, and I've now made another mistake because I was going to make a spine here, and now all I've done is actually cut that to too small to make a spine now. Oh well, never mind. Yeah, I was going to do it like that, but this is then going to be too short. Oh no, what a wally. Right. Well, I'm going to have to just go with it as it is now because, yeah, that was my plan, was to use this. And so, yeah, let's just go for it. Right, okay. So, one mistake after another so far. Okay, now I have got this fabric. This fabric was under my desk. It was gifted to me by the lovely Laura, and I've had it for quite a while. As you can see, I have coffee dyed this. And I thought, well, actually, this is quite a good fabric for this because it's picking up quite a few of the different sort of colours. You know, it's got quite a good kind of neutral base, hasn't it? So I'm going to do this for the outer cover. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the inner cover, to be honest. Yeah, so this is going to be the inside, I think. Actually, no, I'm going to have this on the outside. Only because where it's quite glossy, I'm not sure how brilliantly it's going to, you know, things are going to stick to it. So let's glue this fabric down onto this cover. So yeah, now I'm using Fabri-Tac and just going to put quite a bit of glue on. Now, I do keep on saying this, I know I'm just repeating myself, but this is quite sheeny and quite glossy. So, you know, it's not the ideal surface to be sticking anything, quite frankly. But hopefully it's gonna, you know, gonna work okay. Because I will go around this on the sewing machine. Without going around it on the sewing machine, you know, maybe it wouldn't really stick brilliantly, but hopefully going around it on the sewing machine will kind of just enable it to, you know, stay stuck. So let's take my fabric. Okay, right, I'm going to have to put it like this. Okay, like that. Put it up there. Stretch it out. So as you can see, I mean, it's got the fold lines in it. You know, haven't ironed this or anything. It's, you know, it's going to be kind of like stretched out by the glue. So, you know, gluing is a great way to get out of ironing. If only that worked with ironing generally. Glue your clothes and you no longer have to iron them. Oh, who am I kidding? I don't iron my clothes anyway. So, yeah. I'm not kidding anyone, am I? Not fooling anyone here. Yes, I don't do any ironing other than coffee dyed paper, which, you know, the irony. Oh, excuse the pun. The irony of the no ironing going on. Right, so I've just torn that down. I quite like the torn edges. Now, again, I've not done a brilliant job of this because if you have a look, let me just fold this fabric up and move it out the way. you know, it's actually gone right up to the edge of that cover now, which, you know, not brilliant, obviously, but it's fine. It will do. So like that. And I'm going to then just, yeah, take this to the sewing machine, stitch all around the edge, and that will hopefully kind of secure that. And then we can obviously just maybe collage up or something in here. And then what I might do is stitch this signature together. So stitch this signature together, stitch this signature together, and then just maybe kind of elastic hold it into the cover. I did do that, funnily enough, on the last X-Piles journal that we made, and it just worked really nicely. There's something quite kind of eclectic about doing that, and I think it just works really nicely for these kinds of journals. So I'm just going to check that I wouldn't rather have the whole of the front cover in fabric rather than paper on the inside. Do you know, the only sheet that I'm not loving is this one, so I'm going to take that out because I think that's very, very, very yeah, bright compared to the other sheets. So the other sheets I'm quite happy with. That one just looked a little bit kind of out of place, I think. So yeah, I just feel a bit happier, I think, about that now. Yeah, that looks better, doesn't it? Right, do we want to collage this up before taking it to the sewing machine or afterwards? Probably doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to take it to the sewing machine first. So hold on. Okay, so I'm back from the sewing machine. I did make a bit of a hash of the sewing, but you know, that's all fine. It's not going to matter. So that's my cover. Now, yeah, on the inside, I'm just going to collage it up. So I'm going to use some of those papers that we kind of pulled out just now. So just going to, yeah, go in. I might even use, oh, I was going to use that for the whole of the spine, but it won't. No, it's not covering the whole of the spine, so I won't be doing that. Okay, so I'm just going to, yeah, just go in with this. So again, trying my best not to overthink this at all, and just, you know, just use all those little scraps and bits of paper and things like that that we've got, you know, from laying about on the desk. So like that. I love doing a collaged inside cover, you know, the insides of the covers. I just think they work really well when they're collaged up. I think because, you know, like you can incorporate then all the colours that you're going to contain inside your journal. And it just, you know, it's a nice kind of like introduction for, you know, how the rest of the journal is going to go. So I'll just put that down there. Again, not overthinking this at all. Well, so far. No doubt I will be in a moment. Okay. So, and I'm just using obviously the Fabri-Tac for this as well. So, yep. Okay. So I hope everyone's having a good day, maybe doing some crafting, having a nice time. Let me know below, are you following along with me doing the X-Piles as well? You know, if you are, how's it coming along? Are you clearing your desk, you know, as well, or is it not really going so great? I can't, you know, claim to be doing that brilliant myself either. But yeah, hopefully we're going to get somewhere with it. So I'm just going to just, you know, I'm just literally pulling in anything that I find at all. Just putting it on here. So like that. And I will then, you know, reinforce the spine as well. So if you're kind of thinking, oh, well, that's a bit rubbish, you know, the spine's like a vulnerable point, what we'll do, we'll put, you know, some paper or something over that spine, and then I will actually reinforce it with some I don't know, lace or fabric or something like that as well. So, you know, it won't then be a vulnerable point by the end. So, okay, just going in, you know, anywhere really. So, yeah, let's just do that. I was saying about not overthinking. It's really hard, isn't it, not to overthink, but I do actually really enjoy making these kind of like what's on your desk journals. You know, there's something quite kind of liberating about them, to be honest. You know, I've made a few in the past, and I'm actually, you know, really quite fond of the process. You know, I find it very fun. Right, got some paper here. Oops. Yeah, let's just go in with that. It's quite nice. Okay. They're a different, you know, experience, I think, to make in a sort of matchy journal where everything's got to be perfect. You know, these are much more, well, I mean, obviously they're much more kind of ad hoc, aren't they? And yeah, there's something quite fun about that. Quite freeing to just, you know, mix it up completely. Okay, let's just pop this piece down here, I think. Okay. Oh, it's such a nice day today. I mean, I'm filming ahead, and I know I say this all the time, so, you know, again, the reason I say this is because not everybody watches my channel, and, you know, you might not have heard me say this before. But yeah, film ahead. So, you know, this may be weeks or even months before it goes up, because other things then get slotted in before it. So, but, oh, it's such a nice day today. I mean, it's actually, you know, we're still in the winter, but it's really gorgeous out there. Very mild. You know, for this time of year, it's very mild out there today. Which is great, you know. I love it when you don't barely need a coat. I mean, I do need a coat, you know, please don't get me wrong. I do need a coat, but, you know, barely need a coat. So, yeah. You know, that's just really lovely. It makes you feel like, oh, it won't be long till spring's here. I mean, again, by the time this goes up, who knows, it could be summer. Might even be next autumn. You know, because I just think things do have this funny way of, you know, shifting, because other things just get slotted in. So, you know, before you know it, something you filmed, you know, to put up actually just gets shifted back and back because, you know, seasonal things go on, collaborations, you know, things like that. So, you know, all I'm trying to say is anything I'm talking about here that is like time relevant, i.e. weather, you know, it's, yeah, it's not necessarily representative of the time that the video is going up. Okay. Okay. It's got one of those quiet feelings about it today, you know, like the traffic's not really making much noise, and oh, I just love those types of days. They have this kind of like still kind of calmness about them. Yeah, it's really nice. Again, just pulling in more scraps from the desk, so, you know, brilliant to get all of these pieces kind of being used. So these are, you know, different papers to, yeah, to what I coffee dyed and was expecting to use. But hey, you know, it's all fine because they're all bits that are on the desk floating around and probably do need using. So it's all good, really. Okay. And it doesn't really matter how this collage looks, because the chances are, you know, this page is going to probably have some pockets or, you know, something decorative on it anyway. So, I mean, you're probably not even going to see much of the collage going on, you know. So, again, if you're kind of thinking, oh, well, that doesn't really look right, it probably doesn't really matter. You know, it's negligible how much it's even going to be on show. So, okay. Let's take this one. honestly, and I'm feeling a little bit like I've felt when I do, you know, when I've done these types of videos in the past, you know, like excited, like, oh, I can't wait to see my desk all clear. I mean, who am I kidding? It's not going to be clear by the end of this, is it? It's going to be hopefully a lot better than it has been of late, but it's highly doubtful it's actually going to be, you know, clear. I mean, come on. It would be a lot longer than just a few days, wouldn't it? But yeah, I mean, hopefully it's going to be a lot more manageable than it has been, because, oh, it's just become completely out of hand lately. So yeah, hopefully it's going to be a lot better. A lot better. Right. Okay. Yeah, let me know below if you are working along, you know, with me. Are you clearing your desk? How's it going? You know, is your desk looking any different? Is your desk just looking the same like mine is? You know, how's the progress coming along? I would love to hear. Would love to hear how your progress is coming. Okay. Okay. And I'm just going to put just a little bit of this, I think, over in this corner, just to kind of finish that off. Yeah, that looks nice. I can put it under. I mean, actually now the desk is looking a bit different. So obviously I will show you, you know, how the desk is looking soon. Whether I will show you kind of like midway, I mean, I think, did I say we're up to video 4? Whether I'll show you midway or whether we will wait till the end, I'm not sure. But yeah, the desk is definitely massively improved. So, you know, we've obviously made more progress than I kind of like think, you know, because it does actually look a lot better. I mean, it had come to the point where it was driving me mad. I could barely, you know, barely fit behind my desk. I mean, the floor is still the same, it's got to be said, but yeah, I could, you know, barely get in, and was like, oh my goodness, you know, this is becoming a nightmare to actually even kind of, you know, squish in to my desk at all. So it's definitely better than it was. Right. Well, this is not going to work here, so let's just take this one down. Oops. And then I'll have to put something in that space there. Okay. Just because I've got the rest of this internal envelope, and I mean, I did say about making ephemera with it, didn't I? But to be honest, you know, I think it just actually is going to work brilliantly for here. So I'm just going to fold it up here, so I know roughly where to cut it. Okay, like that. Just take that edge down. Okay, and here. And to be honest, what we'll probably do is kind of like put this together, you know, this journal, we'll put this together, and then we'll crack on with the rest of the desk, you know, with the rest of the desk. And then we will come back and finish this journal off, I think. So, oh, I'll cut that too short now. Oh, yeah, and I know that we've done things like that before, but I just think that's probably quite a good way to do it, is kind of do the basic journal like this, and then actually, you know, finish it off probably after the series, because otherwise the series will just turn into making this journal. And, you know, that's a bit boring, isn't it? So what we might do is like maybe do like another episode working on this. You know, maybe making some bits of ephemera and things like that. And then we'll stop working on this, do a bit more clearing of the desk. You know, hey, I mean, who knows? Maybe by making some bits of ephemera, we perhaps won't have much more left on the desk, you know, which would be amazing. But, you know, there may be. there may be bits left. So yeah, we'll just kind of see how it goes. But then we might come back and do like a, you know, finishing off of this journal, you know, or, you know, I guess I could just do it myself in slower time. Right, okay. So that's the inside of my front cover, which, you know, I know is probably looking awful because it is very eclectic, but, you know, I quite like it. So, yeah, just kind of squish everything down like that. Right, so that's my journal, you know, at the moment. And like I say, what I'm probably going to do is actually bind this together, but actually just kind of elasticate, you know, yeah, put some elastic in to kind of like hold it into here. So it's removable from the cover. Because when I last did that, I just loved the process of doing that so much. And it just, you know, it made it such a nice versatile piece. Or such a nice versatile journal. So yeah, I think probably that's what I'm going to do. So I'll probably leave that there for today, and then yeah, in the next episode we will maybe make some bits of ephemera and things like that to put into this journal. Then we'll probably kind of leave this journal where it is, and we'll come and do just some other little bits and bobs to clear a bit more space on the desk. And then yeah, hopefully we're making then some good progress. So hope that you like the, you know, the journal so far and the progress that we've made so far. And yeah, hopefully you will join me for the next one. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much then. Bye.